Have you ever sat down with an AI tool, typed out a question, maybe, a task you needed help with, and then just kind of stared at what came back? It's often so bland, so safe. So, well, default. You were hoping for something really insightful, maybe a creative spark, but you just got this polite, kind of uninspired response. Beat. What if the issue wasn't really the AI's intelligence, but maybe how we were asking? Welcome to the deep dive. This week, we really dug into a whole bunch of articles, white papers, expert interviews, all focus on this really powerful shift in how people are, well, unlocking generative AI. What we've kind of boiled down for you today isn't about some magic prompt engineering. It's more about being incredibly clear, really intentional.
Yeah, exactly. Our mission today is really to help you move past that feeling, like you're just punching buttons on a vending machine and hoping to the best. We want to show you how to truly collaborate with what we've seen described, pretty aptly, I think, as a brilliant but maybe inexperienced intern. And we're going to give you some practical frameworks, stuff that actually works. So we've got a clear plan. First, we'll explore the sort of core philosophy behind really effective prompting, getting beyond just what to ask to why certain ways of asking get much, much better results. Then we're going to break down what we see as the 5 foundational pillars for a great prompt. And finally, we'll dive into 11 specific real-world prompt templates. These are serious game changers designed for coding, writing, even strategic thinking.
Oh, I definitely remember those early days. You pop in a question, get a quick answer, something acceptable, and you feel pretty smart. But like you said, that novelty, it fades pretty fast. The responses just felt, well, generic, almost like the AI was trying really hard not to step on any toes. I'd try, using fancier words, more complex instructions, thinking I needed to sound smarter, but it often felt like I was just, I don't know, shouting into the wind.
That's such a common experience.
Yeah.
And it's right where that crucial aha moment usually hits, based on what we've read. The AI was actually doing exactly what you asked it to do. The problem, like you hinted, was our asking. So the shift isn't about becoming some kind of prompt wizard. It's about fundamentally improving how we talk to these tools. It's all about clarity and precision.
And that brings us to that powerful analogy, right? Don't think of AI like that vending machine where you press B4 and get your chips. Instead, picture it as this brilliant, incredibly well-read, but ultimately inexperienced intern. It's got access to pretty much all human knowledge, which is, wow, immense. But it completely lacks your specific project goals, your business context, who you're talking to. So your role isn't just to give orders, it's more like guiding it, mentoring it, really. So if you had to boil all that research down, what's the single biggest mindset shift we need to make when we talk to AI?
Treat AI like that brilliant intern. Guide its thinking. Don't just give it commands.
Okay, so before we get into those specific templates, let's maybe lay down the foundations. Because what we saw across the sources is that a really great prompt isn't just, a good question. It's a carefully designed structure. It's kind of like stacking Lego blocks, but with data and really clear instructions.
Exactly right. We've kind of pulled out 5 core pillars that once you really get these, they'll transform your interactions. First one, persona or role-playing. This is super powerful. When you ask the AI to act as a specific role like, say, senior Python developer or maybe an AppSec engineer, it doesn't just change the tone. The real power, the research points to this, is it forces the AI to filter information through a specific viewpoint. It's like giving it expert tinted glasses. It stops it from just defaulting to that bland generalist mode and instead taps into, well, specialized intuition, almost like it's truly an expert thinking through your problem. You get tailored expertise, not just a generic answer. Okay, second pillar. Context is king. This came up again and again. The AI cannot read your mind. Simple as that. You have to provide the relevant background. That means, code snippets, what your business goals are, who your target audience is, any technical limits. Asking for a bug fix without showing the code. It's like asking for directions, but not saying where you are now. It's just foundational. Third, define the output format. Never assume the AI knows how you want the information back. You got to explicitly ask for the format you need. Maybe a bulleted list, a markdown table, a JSON object, which is just a standard way to structure data, or even like a user story script. This saves you so much time reformatting later, and importantly, it helps the AI structure its own thoughts more logically from the get-go. Gets it right, or closer to right the first time. Fourth pillar, constraints and guardrails. Tell the AI what not to do. This is actually really crucial. It narrows down the possibilities and stops those rambling off-topic responses. Think about using phrases like, keep it under 200 words, or avoid technical jargon, maybe do not suggest external libraries. These are like your focus levers. They keep the output relevant and tight. And finally, number 5, iterative refinement. This is where the real collaboration happens. Treat it like a conversation. Your first prompt. It's rarely perfect, and that's completely okay. Use follow-up commands like, make that more concise, or explain this point in more detail. Maybe rewrite this but in a formal tone. This is where you sculpt the output together. It's where that true intellectual partnership can emerge.
Okay, these 5 pillars, persona, context, output format, constraints, and iteration, they sound incredibly practical, but why are they so much better than just, trying to sound smart or using really complex language? Is it just about being clearer?
Well, clarity is a huge part of it, sure, but it's deeper than that. It's about providing the scaffolding the AI needs to think effectively for you. Without context, without a role, it's kind of operating in a vacuum. It's like asking someone to bake a cake but not telling them what kind, who it's for, or what ingredients are even available. These pillars don't just ask for info. They create structure, clear expectations. They make sure the AI can actually deliver something relevant and truly useful, not just, a generic reply.
Right, okay. Let's make this really concrete then. These next 4 templates, pulled straight from our research, these are becoming daily tools for developers. They're turning what used to be tedious hours into really productive minutes. It's about using AI as a genuine force multiplier.
Absolutely. So the first one is the virtual mentor. Explaining complex code. This basically turns the AI into a really patient teammate. It's perfect for figuring out tricky logic or getting up to speed on a new code base. What makes it work so well is the defined roles, like you set it up as a senior Python developer explaining something to a mid-level developer. That creates a clear teaching dynamic. It goes beyond just what the code does to why certain design choices were made. Maybe the difference between a Syncio.gather and a Syncio.wait, for instance, which highlights that critical difference between waiting for all tasks or managing them individually if one fails. Plus, it proactively flags potential risks. Acts like a seasoned reviewer would. Okay, then there's the test suite architect, generating comprehensive test cases. This helps you rapidly generate broad test coverage, for unit tests, especially when deadlines are tight. This works like a charm because you specify the tools, like PyTest, that popular Python testing framework, and maybe requests mock. That ensures the AI spits out code that actually works with your setup. It focuses on structured coverage, too, making sure it hits the happy path 200 okay, but also server error 500, client error 404, API timeout, invalid JSON, maybe a missing critical key. It stops you from missing those crucial edge cases. Template number 3 is the code refactor, cleaning up and optimizing. This turns the AI into a smart partner for refactoring that, let's be honest, ugly or tangled code. The magic here is giving it specific instructions like follow solid principles, those key ideas for maintainable code, making sure functions do one thing well, or use modern array methods or destructuring. These guide the AI very precisely, and asking it to explain the changes, that turns it into a learning moment for you, the developer. And the last one for developers, the security eye. Reviewing code before you commit. Think of this as a first line of defense. It helps catch potential vulnerabilities before you even create a pull request. The specialized persona, AppSec engineer, is key here. It makes the AI focus on dangerous patterns, things like SQL injection, which can wreck databases, XSS or cross-site scripting, path traversal, maybe SSRF, server-side request forgery, or even insecure error handling in, say, C# code. Requesting prioritization helps you tackle the biggest risks first, and asking for a code example for remediation gives you practical, actionable advice right away.
I have to admit, I still wrestle with prompt drift sometimes myself, especially when I'm trying to pin down a really subtle bug or refactor a truly gnarly piece of code.
Yeah.
It really reminds you just how precise you need to be with these tools and how much that context actually matters if you want consistent, useful results. So, digging into these 4 templates, how do they really save developers actual time and maybe prevent headaches down the road?
Yeah, they automate complex jobs, generate thorough tests, and proactively spot security risks much earlier in the process.
Okay, now, for those of us who kind of bridge that gap between the deep technical work and, well, communicating it, the writers, content folks, product managers, these next prompts are honestly pure gold. They help turn those complex technical ideas into genuinely compelling content. Makes your work not just functional, but actually engaging.
Oh yeah, definitely. Let's look at the title maestro, brainstorming engaging headlines. This template helps generate really compelling headlines tailored for different audiences and styles. It works so well because you segment the audience like asking for titles specifically for tech leads versus architects versus product managers. That forces the AI to come up with different angles. And the creative structure you ask for, like requesting direct titles, curiosity-driven ones focused on business benefits, or even slightly controversial titles for, say, a microservices article. That ensures you get a whole range of options. Really helps break through writer's block. Okay, next up, the content architect. Building a solid outline. This is great for turning a kind of vague idea into an actual actionable article structure. Really helps fight that blank page syndrome. What makes it effective is how detailed and directive you can be. You give it the core topic like why modern front-end developers should master Docker, and then specify sections. Introduction hook, key benefits, quick start guide, conclusion. That guides the AI, establishes a clear narrative flow, and lets you define the desired tone right from the outset. And then there's the word sculptor, turning dry prose into engaging text. This one literally breathes life into those academic or super technical paragraphs, makes them sound natural, understandable. How it works is you request specific techniques. Ask for a simple analogy or metaphor, maybe like comparing database indexing to a book index. Or ask it to start with a question. Use shorter sentences. Employ the active voice. This transforms abstract concepts into something concrete, vibrant, but, and this is key, while keeping the core meaning intact. It nudges the AI away from just stating facts towards being more of a storyteller.
So, based on what the research suggests, how can these writing prompts genuinely help someone overcome creative blocks and really engage their readers more effectively?
By targeting specific audiences, providing clear structure, and using proven techniques to make dry text more conversational and lively. Mid-roll sponsor read, insert sponsor read here.
All right, finally, let's move into templates that really help bridge that gap between the code itself and the humans who need to understand or use it. These are for things like generating clear documentation, summarizing really dense information, or even breaking down those huge, complex feature requests into manageable steps. This is where AI starts to feel like it's scaling our team's intelligence.
Absolutely. First is the wise scribe, generating documentation from code. This automates what can be really tedious work, turning functions or methods into usable professional documentation. It works because you tell it to adhere to a specific standard, like the Google Python-style docstring format. That ensures consistent, high-quality output. The AI is smart enough to infer what parameters are for, and it even proactively thinks about failure modes, suggesting you add a raises section for things like value error or time at error, for example. It's not just documenting, it's anticipating potential issues. Second, the information synthesizer. Summarizing large code files. Okay, when you need to quickly grasp what a massive code file does without reading every single line, this prompt is invaluable. Its power is in that structured analysis. You ask it to break down, say, a React component by specific aspects, its core purpose, how it handles state management, its input props, any side effects, what user interactions it manages. This makes complex code instantly more understandable and dramatically speeds up onboarding onto new code bases. Third one, the rapid debugger, deciphering cryptic error messages. You could spend 20 minutes Googling some obscure error. Or you could paste the error message, along with the relevant code snippet, into an AI that's been trained on millions of errors and their fixes. This works because it pushes beyond just asking for a fix. You ask it to explain the error's meaning, suggest likely root causes, like maybe a key error in Flask, means you forgot to check if a key exists in a dictionary, and offer multiple fix strategies, like using a defensive .get versus a more explicit try.accept block. Giving it context, both the error and your code, is what ensures an accurate diagnosis. And the final one, number 11, the technical strategist. Decomposing a feature request. This is a massive time saver for entire teams. It helps translate those sometimes vague product requirements into a clear technical action plan. It basically acts like a seasoned tech lead. It works by translating the what into the how. For instance, breaking down a feature like add Google Facebook Oath login, which is that standard for access delegation, into specific front-end tasks, back-end tasks, database changes.
It helps identify work that can happen in parallel and even anticipates that hidden work, things like configuration, security reviews, managing API keys. This really helps with estimation and planning sprints.
Whoa. Just imagine being able to take a huge, complex feature request, something that would normally take, I don't know, days of meetings and whiteboard sessions, and getting back a detailed, genuinely shippable task list in minutes. That's truly scaling our thinking, not just churning out text. That feels like a serious game changer, especially for project managers and tech leads.
Looking at these strategic templates then, what really makes them so powerful for actual project planning and problem solving beyond just spitting out quick answers?
They generate thorough docs, make sense of complex code quickly, and break down big features into clear, actionable steps, even flagging hidden work.
So when we step back and look at all this, what does it really mean for us? This deep dive, looking at all these sources, it's shown pretty clearly that the future of working with AI isn't about learning some secret magical incantations or becoming a niche prompt engineer. Yeah, it's really about adopting structured frameworks for how we think and communicate with these tools. It's about moving from simply using AI to genuinely collaborating with it. These templates we talked about, they aren't just clever hacks. They're disciplined ways to guide the AI, to make sure it's amplifying your intelligence, your goals, instead of just giving you back generic stuff. They help us distill knowledge faster, uncover new insights, and ultimately just become more effective at what we do.
Right. They save time, absolutely. They improve the quality of the output. And maybe most importantly, they help us think faster and often more deeply. They turn AI into a true intellectual partner. We really want to encourage you listening. Start small. Pick just one of these templates, maybe the one that resonates most with the challenge you face regularly. Tweak it. Make it your own. Adapt it to your specific programming language, your framework, your workflow. The goal is for it to feel like a natural part of your process.
Absolutely. And when you have that moment, and you will, where the AI gives you back something that's genuinely better than you expected, maybe an angle you hadn't considered, or an edge case you'd missed, or just a more elegant way to phrase something, that's when you know you've really moved past just using AI to truly collaborating with it. And that really feels like the future of creative and technical work.
So here's a thought to leave you with. What complex problem are you holding back from tackling with AI simply because you haven't yet figured out how to ask the right way? Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep asking better questions.